Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm recording a video on Solver. One of your professors will be giving you a case study to solve using Solver, and a few of you requested me to make a video in Excel how to use Solver and the basics of it. So today I'll be taking an example that we did in second year. Hopefully it's very easy for you to catch because it's a example on marketing mix that you've been reading here on IMPA whatever. So let's start. Let me share my screen. Hopefully, the screen is visible. Right. Firstly, before we get into those questions, we should also know how to install solver. For example, you can see here, my solver is already installed and it's showing here in the data tab. What you need to do is click here on file. Sorry, my laptop seems to be running a little sluggishly today. So go to options of file, then more, then options, then go to add-ins. Within add-in, you'll see over here Excel add-in, Comms add-in, whatever. Click on Excel add-in, click Go, and install these Analytics Toolpack, VBA, and Excel Solver add-in. Okay, click on OK, and you can see Solver would be installed over here. Right. Once you do that, we can start solving the questions using Solver. So what Solver basically does is it uses Excel's function to give you an answer. So instead of when there is a linear equation, it's easy for you to solve. For example, if someone tells me that something costs 10 rupees and so if someone tells me gives me a problem like so number of ads cost per ad and reach. So if I have to reach 5,000 people, reach per ad, and I have a cost per ad of let's say 100. Now target reach is let's say 1 lakh people. So if it's a simple question like this where you have a target reach and the reach per ad. So for per ad you reach 5,000 people. So uh, estimated cost. So this will, if you have to estimate the cost, what you will do is basically for the number of ads you will run target reach divided by reach per ad, so you'll get to the number of ads. And for estimated cost you will do number of ads multiplied by cost per ad. This is a very simple thing that you can do on your own. But if there are multiple iterations where instead of having only one variable you have multiple things, here's where Excel solver comes into play. So let's start with this. It's a very simple question. The question is creating a marketing mix to achieve the following goal. What is the goal? First goal is maximize your spend. Sorry, not maximize, it's minimize. I'll just edit this. It's minimize. So first one is minimize your spends and second one is maximize your reach. These are the objectives that any kind of a marketing mix might have. Okay. Keeping in mind the following constraint. So the constraint is written over here. Now, there are three important things in when you're doing any kind of solver work. First is a variable. So when you imagine an equation like this, 3x plus 4y minus 5z equal to 1000. Okay, so this is a formula that we are used to doing. This formula is called the objective function, right? Let's say that this is the formula for reach. So for reach, this will be my objective function, and my variables would be x, y, and z. So in my question, and there can be constraints like x greater than 100, uh, y less than 50, whatever. So these are called constraints. These are variables, and this is my objective function, right? These are the three important things. Now, for any kind of problem, you have to firstly identify what is your objective function. So here, what my objective function is this spend and reach. So the question gives me three kinds of variables: digital, TV, and print. These are the three mediums which I have to use to reach to firstly, if in the first case, minimize my spend, and in second case, maximize my reach with the constraint that my reach should be at least 15,000 people. Digital should not be more than rupees 1,000. The amount of money that I spend on digital should not be more less than 1,000. Should be less than 1,000. Total spend should not exceed 10,000. Right. However, I have to reach 15,000 people. So this is my um, constraint. My entire objective function will be based on my spends and reach. And these are the three variables that I have. So for example, let's take these variables. Currently, this I've already run solver, so the answer is here, but we'll try and figure out. So these are the three variables: digital, so number of digital campaigns, number of TV ads, and number of print ads. Here it says that for every ad that you run on digital, you'll incur a cost of 10 rupees and you will reach 80 people per ad. 100 people, 100 rupees is the cost for the TV, and 40 is the number of people you will be able to reach. Print, 15 is the cost per print ad, and you will reach 25 people. Now, how do you calculate the spend and reach? So for the spend and reach, what you have to calculate is equal to number of, this is the cost per digital ad multiplied by number of digital ads, plus cost per print TV ad multiplied by number of TV ads, plus cost per print ad multiplied by number of print ads, and so on. So you get it. Basically, for any kind of spend function, it's just per unit cost into number of units. It's easy. Now, instead of doing this, what you can alternatively do is use the sum product function. So equal to sum product multiplied by, so whatever is, so variables and comma cost. So what this will do is to digital multiply by digital, TV multiply by TV, print by print, and it'll do the sum of that. So it's easy to do it this way because there might be more than like three. So like if there are 40 kinds of variables, so you can't keep multiply plus, there can be errors. Here it's very easy. Just make sure that all your variables are in that same order as the channel. Like these two should be in the same order. Otherwise the print function will, like the sum product function will not work. Similarly for reach, what I will do is equal to sum product variables, comma, and then reach. And you'll get the reach ka value. So currently we are reaching 15,000 people at the spend of 5,200 rupees. Now if you change this 50, 40, 200, you can see the spend is changing and the reach is changing. Now my constraint is that I have to, another thing, so this is the equation that I've given for you so that it's easier for you to like duplicate the function when you're trying to do it on your own. So I've just copy pasted the function over here. Now here what I've done is they have given me this constraint that you should reach at least 15,000 people. Currently we are not reaching this. So you can see it's written false over here. So we are not reaching 15,000 people. Digital spends is less than 1,000, which is true. Total spends also less than 10,000, which is also true. But we are not able to reach. Now you can keep doing a kind of uh, trial and error to see, okay, am I getting there or not? But instead of doing a trial and error, we'll directly do using solver. Click on solver. Now, what is my objective over here? So in the first case, my objective is here. First objective is case one, minimize my spend. So here I'll click on minimize. Minimize which cell? Cell should be minimize spend. So spend cell. So objective function, the function use of the objective function is here, that click on the cell that has the this objective function, and you can either do a maximum, minimum, or set a value. So for example, the question might be that your spend should be exactly 5,000. In that case, what I would have done was I would have put 5,000 over here, set objective function to 5,000. Instead of doing that, what I'm doing is click on minimum. So whatever this value is, I want the minimum most possible value over here. Okay, by changing variables. Now, which are the variables that I want to change? Okay, so variables are these green cells that are my x, y, and z, which will change. These things won't change, only the variables will change. So I select these cells. Now, are there any constraints? So click on add. Now over here, what you do is basically, it's very simple. Just make sure your greater than, less than, or equal to functions are correct. Everything else will work in place. So for example, for my first question, it says that reach should be greater than equal to 50,000. So what I have to do is click here. So 14,600. So whatever value is in this cell, this is again flexible. If I change my variable, my reach and digital and everything will keep changing. So I have to make sure that this cell should be greater than equal to, and constraint cell is again this, right? Click on OK, then click on add. This should be less than equal to, click over here, click over here, click on add, click over here, less than equal to which value? This value. Click on add. Okay, you can also do like, or because if all of them were less than equal to, you could have selected all of these should be less than equal to all of these, but because one of them is greater than equal to, less rest of them are less than equal to, you can't do that right now. Okay, now click on cancel. So you should have three constraints. That we also have three constraints over here. We also have three constraints over in this dialog box. Click on keep this checked, make unconstrained variables non-negative. Keep this checked. Now we are going to do a simplex LP, not going into non-linear LP. Just click on simplex LP and click on solve. Now, since the values were already there, my solver returned the same values, but let's just delete the value once and click solver again. Solver always remembers the equation. So if you want to make changes, you can do that. Otherwise, we can click on solve again, and you can see this is the digital values. So it's saying that run 100 ads on digital, don't run anything on TV, and run 280 ads on print. This will give you a total spend of 5,200, which is 100 into like that, and give you a reach of 15,000 that you want. Now, because it's my minimum spend, that's why it's stopped at my constraint. So it's not trying to cross 15,000. Okay. It's so this is met. This is 15,000 correct. This is less than 1,000, less than equal to 1,000. It's correct. And total spends is also less than 10,000. So it's very good. So make sure you can use functions like this to try and solve cases. I'll take case number 2 as well. Okay. So here, second case is you have to maximize your reach given these constraints. So maximize your reach. So this time my objective function is this one. I'll just highlight this one. So this is my objective function right now. I'll just copy paste this, copy case 2, paste. Okay. So write your objective function. So here 5,400 is my objective function that I want to change, that I want to alter. So in the dialog box on top, the objective function, this is the objective function that you want to change. The constraints are that digital spends should be less than 500, TV spend should be less than 4,000, print spend should be less than 6,000, and total spend should be less than 10,000. Giving this, what is the maximum amount of reach that I can get, and how will I allocate these variables that way? Again, go to data. So in here in the data tab, click data, go to solver, click on set objective. What is my objective function this time? It's this function, 5,400, this reach function. Last one was a spend function. This is my reach function. Click on max because this time I'm trying to maximize my reach. Last time I was trying to minimize my reach, my spends. Here, maximize my reach. So click on max, set objective function, changing variable cells. Which variable cell? Again, variable cell will be this one, the green one. Subject to constraint, click on add. Again, constraint, you can see here, all of my cells are less than equal to. So what I can do directly is select all these cells less than equal to, and then constraints again less than equal, these constraints, and click on add. So last time what I did was I selected everything one by one. Here, because all my signs are in one direction, I can directly do a entire series less than equal to this series. Again, select simplex LP and click on solve. The cell objective values do not cover a solver can make the objective value. Just let me check. I think there might be some kind of an issue. I'll just check once. Yeah. So I figured out what was the problem. So here what I have to do is in my constraints, in case one, I think I might have missed out. So here my maximize, so this is basically 15,000 is my reach. So reach function, you have to kind of code this part also. So I'll delete these ones. So here reach equal to, click on reach. For my digital spends, it should be equal to cost of digital multiplied by number of variables. Okay, and total spend should be equal to this one. So basically, unless you put this equation over here, Excel doesn't have a reference point of how to calculate the constraint value in the yellow box. So in the yellow box here, I have digital spend. So let me just write down digital spends, TV spends, print spends, total spends, right? Now here what I have to do is, how do I calculate my digital spends is again equal to number of digital ads that I've run multiplied by the cost per digital ad. Then again, number of TV ads multiplied by cost per TV ad, and number of print ads multiplied by number of uh, the cost per print ad. And total spends is again equal to, either you can just take this one as spend. Okay. So now I'll again delete these values and let's run solver. I'll delete this, delete, delete. Okay. So as I said, you have to add one constraint that all of these, so this yellow column should, because the sign is less than equal to constraint is this. Click on add and click on solve. So now when you solve it, you can see that all my constraints are being met. Solve, then click on OK. So all my constraints are being met. This is less than 500, 40, 3,500, 6,000 and 10,000. While I'm maximizing reach, my total reach is 15,400. And it has automatically filled the values over here. So this is how you use solver. I'll try and figure out some more questions that can solve on your own. I think there is some kind of a supply chain question that I had solved last year that I'll try to solve once I reach home. But for now, I think this will be a good starting point for you to kind of understand how to use solver and the basics of it. That will always be a tougher example. Also, once you get your assignment, I'll try and get that assignment and try and help you how to form the equation, how to, what are the variables and what are the constraints. So that's it for this video. I hope you understood this. It's really simple. Just try it on your own once. Once this basic is clear, no other, like these are the three things that I mentioned: the variable, the constraint, and the equation. If you have these three things in your mind that is correct, then you can try any kind of problem. It will be really fine. Okay. Uh, Best of luck for your assignment.